Have you ever woken up one morning and thought, this doesn't feel right? Not pain exactly, not illness, just something inside you off, like your body's been trying to tell you something, but you haven't been listening. If you're over 60, you know what I mean. The changes don't come all at once, they sneak in quietly. One day you're walking with ease, the next you're short of breath from just getting the mail. But here's the truth that most seniors never hear in time. Our bodies are always whispering before they start screaming. And sometimes those whispers are warnings. Warnings that something serious may be happening beneath the surface. Warnings that, if ignored, could take you away from your family faster than you'd ever expect. I'm not here to scare you. I'm here to open your eyes. Because this information, this awareness, could very well save your life, or the life of someone you love. You see, after 60, the line between just aging and serious health risk becomes blurry. Too many of us brush things off as normal. I'm just getting old. It's probably nothing. But I've seen firsthand what happens when people ignore those signs. Lives lost, friends, neighbors, even relatives, who missed the warning signals and never got the chance to fight back. So today, I want to share with you two of the most critical red flags doctors say you should never ignore after 60. These are not just symptoms of aging, they are signals from your body that it's in trouble. Please listen closely. I've been through these moments. I've seen them play out, and if this message reaches even one person who takes action because of it, then it's worth every word. Let's start with the first: unexplained, deep, persistent fatigue. Now, I'm not talking about being tired after a long day of work in the garden or chasing after your grandkids. I'm talking about a heavy, almost unbreakable exhaustion that no amount of sleep seems to fix. It's the kind of fatigue that follows you like a shadow. You wake up, and you already feel drained. You try to walk across the kitchen, and your legs feel like concrete. You go to fold some laundry, and your arms feel like they've lifted bricks. It's not normal, and it's not just being old. This type of fatigue often shows up before anything else. Before pain, before a diagnosis, before any doctor can run a test and tell you what's wrong. It's the body's way of rationing energy, of pulling back on non-essential systems so it can focus on just surviving. I'll never forget Helen, a dear friend of mine from Ohio, 79 years old, sharp as a tack, kind-hearted, always moving, but one spring she started skipping our walking group. Then she stopped gardening. Eventually her daughter noticed that Helen couldn't even walk to the mailbox without it. So if you've noticed that getting through the day takes twice the effort it used to, if you feel like you're dragging your body around like it's made of lead, if you've started withdrawing from things you used to love because they simply feel too hard, don't ignore that. Write it down, track how long it's been happening, and talk to your doctor. Because unexplained fatigue is one of the earliest and most important warning signs that something is wrong. Don't dismiss it. Don't wait. Now, the second warning is one that most people already fear, but many still misinterpret: chest pain or pressure. You'd think we'd all know this by now, right? Pain in the chest equals possible heart attack. But here's the thing. It doesn't always feel like a dramatic, stabbing pain like you see in the movies. Sometimes it's a mild squeezing. Sometimes it feels like someone set a bag of bricks on your chest and won't take it off. Sometimes it radiates into your shoulder or jaw or your back, and you might mistake it for indigestion or muscle strain. That's what happened to Marvin, a man I knew back in Arizona. 76, retired firefighter, tough as nails. He was playing cards with friends one evening and mentioned he had a weird tightness in his chest, that it was probably something he ate. 30 minutes later, he collapsed. Paramedics arrived fast and he lived, thank God. But the cardiologist told him later, if you had waited another 10 minutes, you wouldn't have made it. You see, sometimes the heart gives you warnings, and other times it just stopped. Marvin got lucky. You don't want to rely on luck. You want to rely on knowledge. You want to rely on action. So here's what you need to know if you ever feel sudden chest discomfort, especially if it spreads to your neck, shoulder, or arm. If you feel short of breath, lightheaded, or break into a cold sweat, don't lie down. Don't wait to see if it passes. Call emergency services immediately, because a heart attack can hit hard and fast, or slow and sneaky. And if it's an aortic dissection, that's when the main artery in your chest starts to tear. You have minutes, not hours, minutes. It's one of the most fatal medical emergencies there is. The pain is often described as tearing or ripping, and it's easy to miss if you're not paying attention. Let me tell you this plain and simple. After 60, your body changes. That's natural, but ignoring chest pain, ignoring fatigue because you think it's probably nothing, that's dangerous. And unnecessary, because the earlier you catch these signs, the more time you have. Time to treat the problem, time to reverse damage, time to live. So before we go deeper, I want to ask you, please, if you found any value in what we've shared so far, go ahead and click that subscribe button. This channel, Elderly Reflections, is a place where senior health, senior wisdom, and real-life lessons come together to inspire and protect those of us walking the later chapters of life. Hit that little bell icon too so you don't miss what's coming next. We've got a lot more to share that could help you or someone you love stay stronger, longer. Now let's keep going, because the next warning sign is one that many seniors accept as just part of getting older, when in fact, it can be the body shouting for help. I'm talking about unexplained shortness of breath. Imagine this: you're sitting on your favorite recliner, not running, not walking, just sitting, and suddenly you feel like you can't get a full breath. You take in air, but it's not enough. Try again, but your chest feels tight. Maybe you even feel a bit dizzy or anxious. That kind of breathlessness is not something you brush off. That's your body telling you that something vital isn't working like it should. You see, breathing is the most basic function we have, and when it suddenly becomes a challenge, it's often because something deep inside, your heart, your lungs, your blood circulation is failing to do its job. Doctors call this symptom dysminia, and it can be a red flag for heart failure, pulmonary embolism, even a silent heart attack that doesn't come with chest pain. You might think, I'm just out of shape, or maybe I'm coming down with something. But don't be so quick to assume. I once knew a man named Dennis, 74, a retired mechanic from Wisconsin. Dennis wasn't the type to complain, but his daughter noticed he was breathing heavier every time they talked. Then he started sleeping upright in a chair because lying down made him feel like he was drowning. By the time he saw a doctor, his lungs were filling with fluid. He was in the early stages of congestive heart failure, and the shortness of breath was the only symptom. Now here's what people don't realize. When your heart weakens, it can't pump blood effectively. That causes fluid to back up into your lungs, your legs, even your abdomen. That's why breathing becomes difficult, especially at night or when lying down. And if that fluid builds up fast, like it can with a blood clot in the lungs, a pulmonary embolism, you can go from slightly winded to gasping for air in minutes. That's not just scary, that's fatal if ignored. So what can you do? First, notice when the shortness of breath happens. Is it sudden? Does it come with chest pressure, a strange cough, or dizziness? Does it improve with rest, or get worse when you lie down? These are all clues. And if you're ever gasping for air without reason, call emergency services immediately. Because once oxygen starts dropping in your blood, damage can happen in minutes. And listen, this isn't just about breathing easier. This is about giving your brain, your heart, and your body what they need to survive. If you can't breathe, nothing else works. So don't ignore it. Now let's talk about the fourth sign. This one is sneaky. It doesn't come with pain, it doesn't feel dramatic. In fact, many people think of it as a good thing, but it can be a very dangerous red flag. I'm talking about drastic, unintentional weight loss. If you've lost more than 5% of your body weight in just a few months without trying, that's something that needs serious attention. I get it, people compliment you, saying you look great. You smile, nod, maybe feel a little proud, but inside you know you haven't been dieting. You haven't been exercising, the weight is just melting away. That's not normal. That's not healthy aging. That's often your body signaling a deeper issue. See, when we lose weight without trying, it's because something inside is burning more energy than it should, or because our body can no longer process food and nutrients the way it's supposed to. This could be caused by cancer, especially cancers of the digestive system, pancreas or lungs. It could be a metabolic disorder. It could be heart failure. It could even be a long-standing infection or undiagnosed diabetes. I remember Clara, a 78-year-old retired teacher from Oregon. Sweet lady, used to bake for every church event. One day she noticed her clothes were loose. Even her shoes felt bigger. At first she thought, well, maybe I'm just losing the fluff. But she hadn't changed a thing. Her appetite was off. She felt a little weaker, sure, but nothing too alarming. It wasn't until she lost 15 pounds in 2 months that her son insisted she see a doctor. The diagnosis? Early-stage pancreatic cancer, caught just in time. That weight loss saved her life. And that's what I want you to understand. Your body is a messenger. It doesn't always shout. Sometimes it speaks quietly. And when it sheds pounds for no reason, when your belt tightens without your help, that's your cue to listen. Other signs to watch for: loss of appetite, feeling full quickly, food tasting different, If you or a loved one starts skipping meals or eating tiny portions, even favorite dishes, pay attention. And it's not just about calories, it's about nutrient absorption. If your body isn't processing protein and fats, your muscles start to waste away. That's why you might feel weaker. That's why walking gets harder. It's not just aging, it's possible malnourishment. And guess what? Even depression and early dementia can cause this downward spiral. So if weight loss comes along with confusion, sadness, or disinterest in food, it's time for a serious talk with your doctor. Get your blood work done, get scans if necessary, and advocate for yourself. Because when we lose weight without trying, it's usually not a blessing, it's a warning. We've talked about fatigue, we've talked about chest pain, breathlessness, and sudden weight loss. But these next two signs, well, they hit closer to the soul. Because when they show up, it's not just the body that starts to fade, it's the mind. The sense of who you are. And I've seen how devastating that can be. Not just for the person going through it, but for the family watching it unfold. Let's talk about confusion, disorientation, or sudden changes in personality. Now look, we all forget things. You walk into a room and forget why. You misplace your glasses. That's part of the human condition, and yes, a bit of aging too. But I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about a sudden fog. You're having a normal day and then suddenly you can't remember where you are. You can't follow a conversation. You forget names you've known your whole life. Or maybe you get angry for no reason. Cold, a version of yourself that doesn't feel like you. When this starts happening, pay attention. It's not just aging. It can be the brain's way of waving a white flag. You see, your brain needs oxygen, steady blood flow, and nutrients, just like your heart or lungs. When that supply is interrupted, whether by a stroke. I once knew a man named Harold, 77, a former math teacher. He could recite formulas in his sleep, could fix any household issue without instructions. Then one day he showed up to church and didn't recognize the usher he'd greeted every Sunday for 15 years. His wife thought he was joking, but the look in his eyes, it wasn't blank, it was frightened. And that's what gets me. When you know something is wrong but you can't describe it, you feel lost. Even in your own home. Doctors later said Harold had suffered a series of microstrokes, tiny disruptions to blood flow in the brain that added up over time. The confusion wasn't gradual. It was sudden, it was real. Another common culprit? Infections, especially in older adults. A simple urinary tract infection, for example, can cause sudden delirium in a senior. Confusion, hallucinations, mood swings, all from something you'd never suspect. And the danger here is families often don't recognize these symptoms as medical. They think mom's losing it, or grandpa's acting out. But the truth? They could be experiencing a medical emergency. So here's what to watch for: sudden forgetfulness, slurred speech, confusion about time or place, personality changes, or withdrawal. If someone you love starts to fade mentally, not over years, but over days or hours, it's not normal. It's time to act. Get them checked immediately, because whether it's a stroke, a brain infection, or the early signs of dementia, early detection can make all the difference. It's not a war sign I need to talk about. And it's a painful one, literally. The last warning sign that doctors say should never be ignored is severe or persistent abdominal pain. I know, stomach aches don't sound dramatic. We've all had them. Gas, bloating, indigestion, they're common. But when the pain is deep, sharp, or won't go away, it could mean something much more dangerous is happening inside. One of the deadliest culprits? A ruptured abdominal aortic aneurysm. That's when the main artery in your belly tears or bursts. The pain can start in your back or side and wrap around your stomach. It might feel like a pulsing or stabbing sensation. And here's the terrifying part. It can take your life within minutes. You won't have time to wait and see. Another possibility? A bowel obstruction, where food or waste can't pass through your intestines. Or mesenteric ischemia, when blood flow to your intestines gets cut off. These sound rare, but they're more common in people over 65 than you'd think. And the symptoms? Nausea, vomiting, a hard or swollen stomach, or pain that worsens after eating. My friend Denise, 75, felt off for days. She had a nagging pain, wasn't eating much, thought it was just a stomach bug. By the time she went to the ER, her gallbladder was inflamed and infected. She needed emergency surgery. The doctor told her if she'd waited another day, the infection would have spread through her whole body. And here's what makes this so tricky. Many of these conditions don't look serious at first. They creep up. You take an you lie down, you wait, But what your gut might actually be telling you is, I'm in trouble. So if the pain comes on fast, lasts more than a few hours, or keeps you from eating or moving comfortably, don't guess. So now we've come to the end. 6 signs, all quiet, all subtle, but all potentially deadly. And I know it's a lot to take in, but here's the thing. You don't have to live in fear. You just have to live with awareness. Your body is not your enemy, it's your partner. And it's always sending signals. The key is to listen before it's too late. We seniors, we've lived through wars, heartbreak, joy, raising families, losing loved ones. We know what it means to endure. So let's use that wisdom to protect ourselves and to protect each other. And now I'd like to hear from you. Have you ever experienced one of these symptoms? Did someone close to you ignore a sign they shouldn't have? What did you learn from it? Your story could help someone else watching right now. So please leave a comment below and tell me this. Where are you watching from today? I love knowing where our Elderly Reflections community is tuning in from. Whether it's a small town in Kentucky or a city apartment in Los Angeles, you matter, your voice matters, and we're stronger when we share. If this video gave you something to think about, please take a moment to click like, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications. It helps us continue creating these conversations for your health, your dignity, and your peace of mind. And as always, thank you for being here with me. Stay strong, stay curious, and remember, it's never too late to listen to your body and live the life you still have with awareness and grace.